This conference will now be recorded.
All right, as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, let's take a few look at a few things. And RBZ, I have a feeling, is going to give us a big move down, so we don't have to worry about that for a second. But let's take a look at CNC. So this morning, I know Pritesh had said something out there, and I really like that idea. Is that if we want to put something out and you want to call out a stock, there's got to be a reason for it. Okay, whether it could just be volume coming in, it could be print has prints above, or something. But we want to start getting in that habit of understanding why we start to look at something, because the fact that it's moving is definitely something to watch. Don't get me wrong, if a stock starts to move, certainly something to pay attention to, but we have, obviously want to have more than that. So this morning, absolute beautiful prints that came in at 50.50. We ended up pulling back. We had a beautiful print line sitting right there at 50.33. We ended up getting a perfect trigger back up, but that wasn't even the easiest trade we had here. All right, so the second time on its way up at 50.50, we saw more ask prints that came back into it. And I typed in there that we had resistance sitting here at 52.50. So guess what? The perfect spot to look for a trigger back down for the stock to be, to end up coming, back towards those ask prints at 50.50. And we can see we pushed up, did not hit, beautiful trigger down, and the short trade was an even easier trade than the long side of things. So then the rest of the afternoon, it pretty much has just been kind of floating around a little bit. The volume's not terrible. We are going to keep this one on our list for the afternoon, which we certainly see some movement coming in. But just keep in mind as well, 52 does have some nice buying that's sitting back up there. So we'll certainly be watching this one. It's just going to, be a matter of whether it can get some actual trading volume going, just like everything else that we see going on out there. Next thing looking at is RBZ, and I was going to kind of rush that one, but just based off of what I was seeing coming into it, it looked like we were going to have this monster bar coming back down. And you could see the orders out there. This is not a easy trading stock. So it really comes down to just that, the thinner trading stocks. What we're going to be looking for is something like what you guys saw, and I wasn't here unfortunately, but something like what you guys saw at 20 and then 22. We want a nice burst of prints that shows us that this person is going to have to make money. And unfortunately, I have not seen that anywhere since the stock has ran up from that 22 level. So you're going to need better prints for us to really be able to do anything with it at this point. Overall, it's going to be hard for most people to be able to get shares to short. So the short side is, obviously it would be something for us to look at, considering there really hasn't been bigger prints coming in to show us that it needs to be continuing to go back up. Just as always, the show of hand came in and you guys got it, but unfortunately there just hasn't been one since then. So you're going to have to watch for that. Next thing looking at is CTRM. So CTRM, not the prettiest stock that we've ever seen, trading out there, and the volume is very, very light. Now, what's going to happen is this has to change its personality in order for us to even think about trading it. I did like that we had pretty much all the bigger prints coming in since 15.50 to up until that 17 level have been buying. But once again, if it keeps trading the way that it is, not even going to pay attention to it. Nothing that we'll be able to do. But with these cheaper stocks, a lot of times we just see them kind of come out of nowhere and we start to see that volume coming back up. So that's something I am going to be watching. It normally would be a sideless stock. But like I said, just not really that much that's going on out there today. And then GLBS is another one that I'm going to be looking at. So the reason I'm looking here is that this is one of the ugliest stocks you've probably ever seen in your life. And when I called it out, it didn't look as bad as it does now. Now we can see that somebody came in and they definitely sold off around that 4 level and at that 410. But when it was coming back up, we had a few ask prints and you could see volume started to wax. And the thing I love about this is that the volume waxing was very light. So what that means to me personally is that it's very easy for a bigger bar to come in and be able to sustain that volume as it starts to push. If this would have been a 2 million bar, a 2 million print bar, then you know what? The fact of it going to be able to trade is probably slim to not, almost zero. But overall, because of the way that the volume started coming back in, it was just a nice setup, something to certainly look for. It's got real mix, but keep in mind, there is the really nice buying that we've seen way up above from where we are right now. So these type of cheaper stocks, a lot of times what you end up seeing is that the personality changes out of nowhere. And that's kind of what I saw as the volume was starting to wax a little bit, but unfortunately it's kind of died out. So we are going to keep it on our side list, but just not really much going on there. Remember, these days, this has been a pretty bad day. And don't get me wrong. I mean, in the morning, there were some beautiful trades out there. I mean, if just alone on CNC, that's all you needed for the entire day. You're talking about basically about a $5 move back and forth on really high probability, perfect trades following the rules exactly. So overall, you just have to have a lot of patience. And I put it out there earlier this morning, but on days like this, guys, it's just whatever you're looking for, whatever you would normally look for, you want to see a lot more. Okay, an 80% trade turns into a 65% trade, a 95% trade turns into an 80% trade just because of the way that things are going on. There's just no one really out there doing much. And you have to keep in mind the personality of the entire day as long as with the stock that you're looking at. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? Unfortunately, I do not think we're going to get anything. Our everyday stocks are just kind of floating around. There's nothing really special at all on that I see. So I think, like I said, I think that's going to be about it. All right, guys, so I'm going to hop back into the chat, and I will talk to everyone in there. Happy trading.